So I recently watched episode 6 of the new Percy Jackson TV show, and it was the episode that I was most excited for because they were going to adapt the Lotus Casino sequence from the books. And I was heavily disappointed. As I was watching it, all I could think about was how the movie version actually did the sequence better than what the show did. And I know that Percy Jackson fans have very mixed feelings about the movie adaptation, but I feel like after watching this episode, I feel like most Percy Jackson fans, I think, will be able to agree that the movie version did the Lotus Casino sequence with way better justice than the show. Now, to explain my point, I'm going to have to showcase every different version of the casino sequence, from the book to the movie and finally the show, to prove my point. So in the book version, Percy and his friends go to the casino because they're looking for a place to rest for the night. And to pass the time, before going to bed, they decide to go and indulge themselves in playing some arcade games. Although Percy senses something might be wrong and is a little bit suspicious, he ends up getting addicted, indulging himself in the arcade games. Percy then talks to a guy and asks him what year it is, and he replies back 1977. And that's when Percy realizes that the real intention of this hotel and casino. The place is luring kids in and making them stuck in a trance so that they will never leave. Once Percy snaps out of it, he quickly goes to his friends and gets them out of the trance, and they quickly get the hell out of there. It seems like the games are what keep the kids addicted and end up staying in this place for a very long time. They also end up not really aging at all because of some weird time dilation. Time passes much slower in the hotel compared to the outside world. So a few seconds in the hotel could mean maybe hours or days, like in the real world. For Percy and the gang, what was only a few hours ends up being 5 days in the real world. So in the movie version, Percy and the gang go to the casino in order to collect one of Persephone's pearls? So kind of like a fetch quest situation. So they end up going to the casino and they're greeted by a server who hands them some lotus flower, cookies, or some pastry or something. So they end up eating it, and it puts them into some sort of trance that makes them kind of like they're high, they're drugged out of their mind, and then they end up completely forgetting their quest, and they end up deciding to just kind of party. After a montage of our characters just goofing about and just having fun in the casino, Percy's father, Poseidon, from the beyond, I guess, then speaks telepathically to his son, telling him to stop eating the lotus flowers. And he does. And he this is kind of the first step of him getting out of his trance. And then afterwards, similar to the books, Percy ends up talking to a guy, and he finds out that the guy thinks that it's currently 1971. And that's when he breaks out of his trance, and then the following sequence plays out very similarly to the books, except this time around, they have to grab a pearl, and they escape in a car. And then some fight scene happens. So in the TV show version, when Percy and the gang go to the casino, they already know what's going on in this place, because Annabeth just says in some exposition that, oh yeah, be careful, don't eat the flowers because it puts you into a trance and you will never end up leaving this place. And I found that to be very weird that they decided to go and do that, because it kind of just ruins the whole twist about what's going on here and ruins the tension of the sequence. So anyway, the reason why they're here in this version is because they need to get some information from Hermes and hopefully get a ride to the underworld. Overall, nothing really happens in the casino really. Like, the characters don't really have fun. Like, the only one that ends up remotely having fun is Grover, because he ends up playing like VR, because it's 2023. Percy and Annabeth, throughout this whole sequence, don't do any activities at all in the casino. All they do pretty much is just kind of like talk to Hermes, and they talk about his past with Luke and his son and all that stuff. Also, in terms of the whole mind trance aspect, like, the only person that really gets put into that trance is Grover. But when it comes to Percy and Annabeth, like, while they have their moments where they kind of forget why they're here in the first place, they don't really get affected by it. Because this time around, instead of it being cookies or the games being addictive, the casino is pumping like this mind trance inducing gas, like, through the ventilation. So that's why people end up staying in the casino and never leaving. So back to Percy and Annabeth, the reason why they don't really get affected as much is because they stayed together. So I guess the power of friendship saves the day once again. So once Annabeth steals Hermes' like car keys for his taxi, they quickly go and collect Grover and freaking drive on out of there. Like, if anything, the one thing that I really like about this adaptation version is how they get out. Seeing Percy drive Hermes' cab like out of the car park when he obviously has no idea how to drive was hilarious, and I really like that sequence. So now that I've explained all three different versions of this sequence, going back to the title of the video, the reason why the movie version is better than the TV show one is mainly because overall, it's closer to the books in terms of its tone and vibe compared to the show's version. Like, the show makes a lot of changes from the original source material. Now, I'm not saying that the movie version is a one-to-one accurate recreation of what happens in the books. Like, obviously not. But in terms of the tone and the vibe and the overall structure, like, it's way more similar to the books than the TV show one is to the books. And overall, the movie version is just way more fun, because we get to see our characters have fun and relax for a change after all the stuff they had to go through in the previous chapters or sequences, depending on which media you watch or consume. So when the twist happens, like, it's kind of like a oh shit moment, whereas the TV show version doesn't have that, because once they go into the casino, Annabeth just explains not only to the characters but to the audience that, oh, this is what's happening, which completely ruins the twist or just gets rid of it in general. The movie version also has that suspicious tension like the books, where something is up with the casino and not everything appears as it seems. The show's version overall was just really boring, because instead of seeing the characters have fun, it was just multiple dialogue sequences back to back where they're just talking about stuff for 30 minutes. So yeah. So what do you think of this episode? Comment down below your thoughts. and whether or not you're enjoying the show so far. Okay, bye.